The first one is that we have our Work-Based Learning Conference coming up on April 26th to 28th. That conference is sold out at this time, so if you are not registered, unfortunately, there's not any space available for this conference, but we're planning an even bigger and with more capacity conference for next year. If you are not able to join us at the ACTE Work-Based Learning Conference, ACT is having a webinar on building business and industry partnerships on April 27th at 1 o'clock. So that might be a good opportunity for you to get in some professional development, even if you can't join us in Atlanta. We also have a webinar coming up on funding your WBL programs on May 25th, and that is part of our Work-Based Learning Division PL webinar series. It'll be at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we will post these. Another webinar we have coming up has a little bit to do with workplace skills, and so because of that, I went ahead and included that, and that is promising teaching practices during the era of COVID. That will be over the summer on June 29th at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So this month's professional development webinar topic is going to be on recruiting and incentives. We're really excited. We have some great speakers, but before we get into that, is our representative from Group Trail here.
Yes, hello, this is Justin.
Hi.
Hi, everyone.
So would you like to speak for just a couple of minutes about Group Trail?
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm Justin Ewan, CEO of Group Trail, and we're really honored to support the work of the ACTE WBL division as the official sponsor. Also, really excited about today's topic because we're working a lot around supporting schools, districts around student recruitment, partner recruitment, onboarding, and engagement. And this graphic here, if you happen to be at Career Tech Vision in Vegas, was our booth, Group Trail kind of signpost. So just kind of showing some of the different things we incorporate. From the standpoint of the company, this is just a little bit of background in terms of the nonprofits, government agencies, districts, schools working with. I think one of the unique aspects is that we have experience working with small schools, districts, regional entities, and statewide implementation for work-based learning tracking. And so we really try and be adaptable to you all. I personally benefited from work-based learning exposure to my own career, starting in high school, and when I was at Nike, and also now at Group Trail, have hosted numerous internships and participate in guest speakers, and I can really see the impact not only for students, but for the employers as well. We learn, equally as much through that experience. But at the same time, I know it's not easy, in terms of managing it to fidelity, also on the partner side as well. So next slide, please. In terms of what is Group Trail, basically it's a software platform that tracks student participation. So through our series of integrations, you can instantly pull up rosters of students, record their WBL and kind of career connected learning participation, but also track their interactions over time, and also add on internship management and registration and job shadows and time logs and permissions forms and all of that as you can expand through it. The other really unique part is the partnership management piece, where you can kind of, as you get interest from partners, you can onboard them, you can get permissions forms, you can put your own process in there of getting them up to speed, because that's a key piece of then helping them plan the work-based learning opportunities themselves to connect with the students. And then all of this can be automatically generating visual reports around that. And the reports can be used live in terms of doing outreach via text messaging and others to connect career interests with work-based learning opportunities out there. Next slide. And then in terms of the process of onboarding, we have a whole piece around making, through all of our integrations, ClassLink and Clever and different student information systems, pulling in data automatically, and then single sign-on to make it lower the entry for students to sign on and make sure that their information is in there automatically. And then on the partner side, we do have a pretty deep understanding of working with partners. And so we have all the different both reports, but tips for engagement there. And then reporting, we can adapt to any kind of reporting views that you might need on a state level or local level. And then last slide. I don't want to take up too much of everyone's time. I'm pretty excited to be at the WBL National Conference in Atlanta, and hopefully my team and I will be able to see and connect with you. We'll also be at Vision in Phoenix, and we also wanted to announce today that a special deal for ACT WBL Division people, where we are waiving the kind of setup training costs with the software platform, and also for the cost, it's $1.10 per student enrolled a year for the licensing. And last slide is basically how to get in contact with me to get set up or learn more and see the platform. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much for sharing that information about Group Trail. That's some great information. And now I'm going to turn this over to one of our Professional Learning Division members, Ms. Dawn Ulmer. Dawn seems to be having some technical difficulties at the moment, so I will go ahead and cover for her until she is able to join us with sound. We have three fantastic speakers today. First of all, we have Ms. Holly Howard from Georgia. She is a career education specialist and work-based learning coordinator from the Hall County School District. We also have Michael Hansen from North Dakota. He is a North Valley Career and Technical Center Director. And third, we have Scott Wiseness from North Dakota. He is an agriculture education teacher, CWE coordinator with a work-based learning endorsement. We're really excited about our presenters today, and I'm going to turn it over to them to speak. If you have any questions, we would like you to please place them in the chat. And at the end of the presentation, we will give the panel an opportunity to answer questions as time allows. We'll start off today with Ms. Holly Howard. And turn it over to you, Ms. Howard.
Okay. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Like Saf said, my name is Holly Howard, and I am the work-based learning coordinator career specialist in Hall County, which is in Georgia. And I'm excited to be with you all today and learn from the other two panelists as well. So I'm just gonna share my screen and get this set up. So if you'll just give me 1 second. Okay. Work-based learning in Hall County, just a little bit about who we are in Hall County, and just to give you an idea of the system that I come from. So as you're hearing what we do, you can kind of tailor it to your needs. We combined our student career goals to their course-related work, what they're learning in their classroom, to their work experience. So where we place them in a job or what job they have with their learning employability skills. We combine their interests, their skill set, which I'm sure all of you are doing as well. Our district as a whole, we have 27,000 students in K through 12th grade. So that allows us to have 7 high schools and 1 college and career academy. We have 9 full-time work-based learning coordinators. So I know that's different. Some of us started out as part-time. However, we now have recruited enough students to where we're all full-time. This year, we actually added an additional support staff. So this additional person is assigned to 3 schools at a time based on needs, based on enrollment. So we do have 7 high schools, 1 college and career academy. That's kind of the hierarchy. I report to a school. I have a principal. I attend meetings at that school. However, I collaborate on a district level with, I guess, my boss at the central office, if you will, our CTAE director. So when I talk about the things that we're doing and the things that how we recruit and how we maintain business partnerships, it's definitely a team effort. And then we each have some things that we do individually at our schools based on our student demographic, because they're so different depending on what school we are in. So quickly, I will just go over how we recruit and maintain business partnerships, how we recruit students, and how we connect with our parents, which seems to be an ongoing learning curve for us. Sorry, I'm having to move my screen around so I can see. Okay, so one thing that we've done over the years is we've just gotten more and more involved in our Chamber of Commerce. That has really helped us to develop partnerships. So we reach out to our existing business industry vice president. We have a educational vice president at our Chamber of Commerce, and I myself take the initiative to go to, after hours for chamber events, just to kind of meet and greet and get involved with our Chamber of Commerce. So that has helped us establish partnerships with those businesses who are members of our chamber, but also create new business partnerships as we work and attend events with the Chamber of Commerce. We have promotional materials that we use, so I won't spend too much time, but I did just bring, I don't know if you can see it, but just like simple folders. We always have things with our logo on it that we can give away to recruit. So when we go do a cold call, we have gifts for them, whether it's a notebook, a window cling, a magnet, whatever it is with our logo for Georgia on it. And then in addition, we each kind of do our own logo based on our school. So I'm Chestatee High School with a war eagle. So this is our thank you cards, but I also have mugs and notebooks and things like that too. So that helps us kind of recruit business partners as well as we go out, because our items are everywhere. We just do a lot of branding in Hall County. We utilize online resources. So I will see if this works, but we're heavy on Twitter, LinkedIn, and we have a website as well. And I'm not sure if it is going to pull up, but we be sure to, and it won't pull up, but we are sure to, when we have an event with their business partner is there, we tweet them out, we tag them. So we just kind of promote them and thank them on these social media platforms. We've recently got into LinkedIn because we realize that it's, like the Facebook for business people. So we do a lot of shout outs there, but we also recruit from there. We recruit from businesses. If we see there's a need, then we are sure to reach out to them and connect with them if we have a student that meets that need that they have. We do have a website that I can try to take you to. It's just not working. And then, so here's our website. So you'll see that there is a for employers page for our business partners. We have tabs on here that talk about like how to partner with work-based learning if they're interested. So a lot of times as we're recruiting, we send people to this website so they can kind of get an overview about work-based learning is if they've never heard of work-based learning before. And then it kind of gives them the opportunity to sign up, and we do kind of pay attention to who signs up and reach out to them and follow up with them afterwards. So that is our website that we maintain for recruitment. And let me see if I can get back. And this just gives them a way to, come to the committee meeting, give their ideas, share with us what they need, and then also develop relationships with the coordinators and also kind of learn about work-based learning and how it can help them. There are cold calls, which is just very standard based on, you know, the year. Every year is different. My district coordinator kind of challenges us every year to have a certain amount of cold calls where we're developing new business partnerships. We do speak at HR councils when we have the opportunity, and then we're involved in our economic development within our district as well.
Holly, it looks like you have gone on mute.
Oh, so sorry. There you go. When we speak to our business partners, this is kind of how we pitch to them. Why should they give work-based learning a chance? Why should they hire a 16 to 17, 18-year-old while they're still in high school? So we just kind of share with them the impact it'll have on their workforce, the benefit that they have, that they can train that employee their way, that they can get them as young and help them, you know, fall in love with the company and the culture to retain employees. They can find the right fit early on and develop that person. You know, if they're not exceeding in this area, they have time while they're still in high school to transition them to another area. How it impacts the student's education, because it brings, you know, what they're learning in the classroom to life. And then obviously how it impacts our economy, which most of our business people, or all of our business people, are working together to develop our economy in Hall County. We also have just a spokesperson. He is the president of Kubota. Kubota sits on our advisory board, and we just have like a cheerleader. So that's one of the biggest things we've done to recruit different partnerships, is we've identified kind of a person, a business partner already, and we use them as the person that represents us to say how great work-based learning is. So Kubota is an international company, and they're manufacturing here. And so Mr. Sutton kind of, when he has a platform to talk about economic development and training up the next generation of workers, then he always tends to throw in work-based learning. So that has been huge for us to kind of bring him on board in the manufacturing sector, especially. These are just handouts that have been good for us. We put them in our folders when we go and recruit businesses about how to employ a 16 and a 17-year-old. We partnered with our chamber to do this, and this has kind of eased the minds of some of our employers who are scared to employ someone who's 16 years old. The chamber worked well because they brought in a lawyer to kind of help formulate this based on the laws that everyone talks about, that they're hesitant to employ someone who's under the age of 18. And now we've used this business guide and kind of tweaked it to whatever industry we're recruiting at that time, whether it be healthcare or construction. But originally this was done for our manufacturing sector because that was a huge push at one point in our community. This is just something else that clearly like lays out what can they do and what can they not do. And this has been very beneficial for us, just to kind of show when we go and we do a visit or recruit a partner, these are some things that your students can do. These are what they can't do. So this is essentially like a training plan, but more in the, I guess, more relatable to our businesses and our industries. Then other ways, I'm sure all of you are already doing this, but other ways to develop partnerships, what we have found is if they're not willing to take an intern right off the bat, then maybe they'll provide tours of their company. Maybe they'll want to come to your CTAE school and do tours at your school so they can kind of see like what the students are learning. Bring them in to assist with mock interview days. They can obviously be judges and help your students prep for competitions, be a guest speaker. We have a lot of businesses who thankfully donate their equipment and their materials and also sponsor incentives for teachers and work-based learning students. And we allow them to sign up using a digital form. And then we have a database that we can use when we are in need of an internship or in need of a guest speaker in a certain area. I didn't include this, but we also have a end of year award banquet, and we invite all of our business partners and all their mentors and supervisors, and we give away awards for new business partner of the year, advocate of the year, and existing business partner of the year. So that is something I forgot to include, but that helps us a lot too. And everyone's in the same room together. So it's just a very neat experience at the end of the year. Recruiting students, again, we're big on just branding our programs and printed materials. And so some ways that we have recruited students, just the traditional ways, we definitely go into all the classrooms. We share student testimonies here. I have a video. I'm not sure that I have time to show it though, but I can send that to you in a link if you want to personally, if you want to view that. We do recruitment tools. So you'll see here some of the slides or some of the pictures that you see are postcards that we send to all pathway completers, and we give them out in either at school or we send them in the mail. And it just kind of breaks down like the importance of why interning is important or why it's beneficial in high school based on statistics. Obviously a huge component for us. I'm not sure how your school works, but we build relationships with our counselors. And we present at class meetings, and then we do district-wide events as well. So young professionals and rising professionals, and that allows us the opportunity to bring in students who we may miss in some of these we may miss them because they might not be in their career tech classrooms. And we, in addition to talking to them about soft skills and what it is to be a professional, we also kind of interject work-based learning and what it means. We have student panels where students are sharing about what they've done in work-based learning. We do have an honors level credit for work-based learning in our school district, and they get an accord at the end. So that's reaches a different kind of level of student for work-based learning. They have the opportunity to earn a certification in business ethics through a program we have here in Hall County. And then we also do signing days where if our work-based learning students is kind of like a sports signing, but when they graduate, they go straight to the workforce with one of our business partners. We host a signing day for them.
What are your plans for the next 2 to 3 years? Developing virtual reality software? Designing the next Star Wars droid? Maybe hiring chefs for your very own restaurant? I know my answer, and I know where high school students can find theirs. Work-based learning. Work-based learning provides students with structured work experience.
And you get the point of that. So if you want the rest of that video, I'll be happy to share, but that was actually put out by our state, and we incorporate that into our recruitment for students. We put these signs up in our schools, and I put them on our TVs and everywhere throughout our school. And it just, promotes kind of we do a social media blast with it. And it's simply, we kind of break it down into their terms. They get to leave school early, they can earn money and class credit, and they can try out a career. So they can sign up digitally to apply to work-based learning. We have this student guidebook to give to them. I specifically give this to them during student orientation, and then also during open house at our school. And then lastly, connecting with parents. I think this is one of the areas that I know I struggle with the most, but we do have a parent's guide to work-based learning, which answers a lot of the questions for parents. And we give those out to the parents during parent orientation. We do have parent industry nights. So some of our businesses like why, again, is addressed to parents, and it specifically says, like, did you know? And these are statistics about the benefits of a high school internship, and not waiting until you're in college or not waiting until after your college to decide. We make sure that parents are required to sign student evaluations, just to kind of allow this parent to know what their students are learning on their training plan. And we have awards nights, and then obviously we connect with them not only through our personal social media, but through our school-wide social media as well. Our county shares our updates, and then our specific school shares our updates as well. So they can see what other students are doing and what their student is doing too, if they have a student in work-based learning. And then lastly, just sharing our success stories. So these are just all little bits and pieces of success stories and an alumni spotlight. And this is just very helpful to kind of say, hey, we have, you know, look what this student had in work-based learning, and now where is this student in the workforce and what they're doing. And we post those throughout our school and then throughout our county as well. And that is it. And there's my contact information. If you want to reach out, I can share some of these resources with you in the videos that I didn't have a chance to share as well. I'd be happy to do that.
Thank you so much. Holly is one of the amazing work-based learning coordinators in Georgia. She is County is regularly one of the innovative practices within work-based learning within Georgia. So thank you so much for sharing with us. There were lots of questions popping up having to do with getting those links. I shared the link to your website, but if you want to pop any links in the chat, I'm sure people would appreciate it.
Okay, yes, I'll look at those now. Thank you, Seth.
Awesome. So next we have Scott Weisness, who has been involved with CTE and co-op work experiences and learning for many years. He has created a plan and process for work-based learning before it was even called work-based learning. His attention to detail and passion for helping students has helped his program grow each year. So we will turn this over to Mr. Scott Weisness.
Well, thank you. That's a pretty nice introduction. Yeah, I'm Scott Weisness. I'm from Watford City, which is in western North Dakota. We're out in oil country, one of the fastest growing areas in the country. Our community grew from a population of about 1,500 when I moved back here in 2009 to about 8,000 now. So we're a really growing school district, but we've been doing cooperative work experience in Watford City for over 40 years. The program has changed from, like I said, I came back here in 2009. And back then, the program was mostly students going to work in agriculture, had shop type jobs. They were able to go for the co-op program, and students who were in business went to work in office type jobs. And now we've expanded to all kinds of different opportunities. And now I actually coordinate all of the work-based learning in all of the different areas. So we've grown, and we have a pretty good partnership with businesses. Holly shared a lot of ideas. I wrote down some of the things that we do, some of the same things that she does. And I'll add a few more, but it sounds like she's doing an awesome job there. And I wrote down some notes from hers too. So here, let me share my screen. Great. There we go. Should be able to see it now, right? Perfect. So just like I said, a little bit of an overview of the program. I've taught since 2003. I have 20 years experience teaching as a CTE teacher. I'm actually the agriculture teacher here in Watford City. I still teach 4 class periods. I have 1 period devoted to cooperative work experience, and then another period that's devoted to planning our new Bakken Area Skills Center, which is being constructed right across from the high school. So we're very excited about that. But like I said, I've supervised what, of course, we call it CWE now since 2009. I work closely with our career counselor, Rachel Michael, and all of the CTE teachers in our high school to coordinate this program. Part of my responsibilities include communicating with businesses, the CWE agreements, students complete journals every week, making sure that businesses do their evaluations, grades, student visits, businesses, and student recognition, which I'll talk about. So I probably don't need to spend a lot of time talking about how CWE works or what it is, but this is basically what I share with businesses though. And we do have a website that I'll show you where we actually have all this information, because I do think it's really important that businesses know what they're taking on when they take on a student, because I have a lot of places ask me that, or they tell me that they have a, so, and time is a factor too. I don't really want to set up a meeting every single time. I mean, I do when they ask and want to meet with me, I certainly do that. But with only having a period during a school day to do that, it's hard. So having those documents online is a good idea. So this is basically what I share with them. I mean, they work 90 minutes during the school day. That's just some of the important, hit on some of the important things. They do have to provide their own transportation. We have that in our agreement and things like that. They're expected to be at work every school day. We have developed a list of approved training stations as a guide. So we actually do have an intent of interest form that the businesses have to fill out to be a cooperating business. We actually, when students apply for the jobs, we actually have an application process, which we're in the middle of doing right now. We had our career fair and job interview day today, which went pretty well. And I'll talk about that here a little bit later too. But just a few important things that I share by the business. Also, what is required by the business and things like that. So here is just kind of fun to look at some pictures of the different students working. And that's one thing with me is I like to get out and do those student visits and take those pictures of those students in action because I use those pictures for social media posts, for certificates of appreciation. And this is actually the same slideshow that I used when I presented to a workforce summit day we had here in Watford City a few months ago. And it's just kind of cool to see. We have students working in health careers fields, agriculture. This over here is a new one. With Luis here working at Eyes by Design, a new optometrist office in town. And then a bank for the Parks Department. And this student over here in the top right is working at a welding shop. So it's just kind of cool when you put them together to say, hey, these kids are getting such awesome opportunities out in the community. And I use those as recruitment tools for not only businesses, but students too. So we actually, the students have to, of course, be in one of our approved program areas, which is important, again, to communicate with the businesses that they do have to meet our criteria as well. And the students are required to take at least 2 classes within that program area, which is along the lines with recruiting the students. They also need to know that this is a recruitment tool for our programs as well. If you want to work in ours, we don't have a welding or a construction program quite yet. So those students are required to take agriculture and Ag 1 and then Ag mechanics. So we've actually created posters and things like that so that the students and posted those around the school so that they can see that they need to take those classes. Same thing with business. You know, if you're working at a bank, you should have taken those intro to business classes and accounting classes. And that word has gotten out better. And we feel like we've promoted not only the cooperative work experience program, but our classes in general at the high school. Like I said earlier, we hosted our CWE fair and interview day today. We have a 20-minute period during the day where our students come during what's called their Wolves time. And we invited all of the sophomores to come down because our CWE is only open to the seniors. So all 100 or so sophomores came down and were able to see all of the different businesses. And I think we had 25 different businesses that were here. So it's really cool for them to see all of the businesses and get a chance to visit with them in a short amount of time. And this was just something that when I had my meeting with all the supervisors and got their feedback, they said, well, it was really cool to talk to the 4 or 5 students that were applying for the job here, but we would have really liked to talk to more. So we opened it up to sophomores and had them see, and then they can see, well, next year when you apply, these are the opportunities that are out there. And then after the fair, then I actually coordinated interviews. So the businesses came to the school and they interviewed with students for their job. All the students interviewing. So, and then the business actually offers the position to the student. So, I mean, again, I like to promote that on social media and let others see, look at the great things that we're doing. And this is a great way for the whole school to see. And then other teachers at the school can kind of see, like, man, this is a really cool opportunity you're giving these students. So just a few other things, and Holly mentioned some of these things in her presentation. We do some of the same things. Partnerships are really important. I like to get out and talk to city and county economic development meetings, the Chamber of Commerce, the Job Development Authority, even working with Job Service. All of those different partnerships can really help your program and get the word out. I've even gone to talk to groups like the Eagles and the Lions, just to share what cooperative work experience is all about. And like I said, we've been doing this for many years, but a lot of people don't know some of the changes and how that's going. And in a lot of sense, it's easy too, where you can just send it to those groups and they can forward it on in their updates. And then that really helps too. And the word really gets out, especially in your community. And also, of course, talk to your local newspaper, ask them to write an article about your program. That's a great way to get the word out so that they can see what's going on. And like I said earlier, I like face-to-face meetings. When I can get out and talk to businesses, it's great, or if they can come to the school. But sharing documents on a website is a really good idea. I'm not the greatest at putting documents together, so I worked with our career counselor, and then at our school, we actually have a communications coordinator who helped put together some of these brochures. So we actually have a CWE brochure, and I'm not sure if I can share that on here. Maybe if I
would like to place a link in the chat, then people can grab that out later.
Yeah, I can do that. I can place a link in the chat. But yeah, it has some of the same information that I shared earlier about what's expected with the business, with some pictures. You know, it's just a great way instead of, and I know I get phone calls and say, oh, I'd like to meet with you to talk about CWE. And I know it would be great to take the time to meet, but a lot of times I'll just forward the email and say, we have all the information on our website and here you can find it. But if you have any questions, you can certainly contact me. So that seemed to work pretty well. I also like to put things on social media. We do a CWE Student of the Week, and every week we showcase a different student and what they're doing. I take pictures during the visits, talk about their pathway and what their interests are and what they do at their work, and make sure that I thank the business. That's always important. So just to show you here a few examples. This is one of ours, student working at Legendary Smiles. Just says the career cluster and pathway, a few things that she does, assist with filling, sterilizing, restocking supplies, whatever. And then thanks to Chelsea and the entire staff at Legendary Smiles for providing this experience. And then kind of the same thing, I get a little repetitive in my wording. But here's another student working at a mechanics type job at Elkin Energy Services. And here's a business student working for the McKinsey County Public Works. She actually gets to work in GIS and does a lot of cool things there. And here's one working at the local daycare. And of course, another thing is, of course, be aware of the pictures that you share. This girl that's in the picture was her supervisor whose daughter goes to the daycare. So she said that she gave me permission to share her picture. So of course, when you're putting pictures, you do have to make sure you're following those legalities. And we also do a business recognition. We used to do it during our FFA banquet and some of our CTSO banquets. But a few years ago, we moved it to our senior night. And that's actually gone really well, where we recognize the student. Last year, we had a short social before where the businesses came in with the students. And then right away, this is when they give out the scholarships and all the senior awards. We recognized all the businesses and the students. And I thought the businesses would want to go right away and then leave, but most of them actually stayed and watched our students get awards, which was kind of cool. So they receive a framed certificate signed by the student, principal, and me, the coordinator. But a lot of the businesses display these certificates, which when I go and visit and I get to see those certificates on their wall, it's kind of a cool thing. So just here's an example of one of the certificates, the student's picture. And like I said, some of these students are still working at those businesses, and it's cool to see the pictures of the students on their walls. So that to me is one of the greatest recruitment tools, is just to see former students and just the word of mouth. So just to recap on some of the highlights that I talked about, just partnerships are important. Any way that you can reach out is good, and have other people share your information. Communicate effectively while managing your time, share documents, have a website, put things on Facebook. I mean, you certainly don't want to shut people out if they want to meet with you, but managing time is important. Make sure you're showing appreciation to the supervisors and the businesses. And just from my experience, just like in sports, success breeds success. When the program's going well and people are sharing their positive experiences, more will be interested. I mean, we're still a small enough community where the word gets out there. When we have new students moving here, one of the things they say is, I heard about that CWE program. How do I get involved with that? And it's just the word of mouth is a good thing. So if things are going well and you're promoting what you're doing, then people will just hear about it. I don't feel like I need to do a lot of business recruiting. We actually have a lot of businesses on our list. But the hard part is when you get new businesses, then the ones that you've had partners with for years, I mean, it gets harder to find students to go to those positions. But the program does recruit itself. And I do have a few links here that I can share. I have 2 different sites. Our counselor has sites with the promotional materials on our school website, but then I have my own Google Doc site with all the documents that I share with the businesses themselves once they're a business partner. So I can share both of those in the link or in the comments.
That would be great.
I just always share that it's a great way to partner with our school district and prepare students for the world of work. So we've been doing this for a while, but we're still fine tuning what we do and looking for great ideas from other people. So.
Thank you so much, Scott. You shared so much great information. We really appreciate it. If you wouldn't mind putting some of those links in the chat, I know people were asking about them.
Sure.
And we will get to questions at the end provided we have some time. Next, we have Mr. Michael Hansen, and he is a groundbreaking CTE director in North Dakota. He's not afraid to move forward with new ideas and sets high standards for the entire state to follow. We're very grateful to have him here. Mr. Hansen, would you like to share your screen?
You bet. Those were awfully kind words, I guess written by Don. So I'll try to share here. Yeah, so a little bit about who we are. I'm the director at North Valley Career and Technology Center, located in northeastern part of North Dakota, so the opposite corner, about 6 hours from Scott. So kind of ironic though, I've stole a lot from Scott. We both worked on the work-based learning guidance for the state of North Dakota, and it's definitely, education's a lot like coaching. We both did a lot of it, and I would say that it's a beg, borrow, steal program. So anyway, with that said, happy to be here today. Like I said, I am the director of North Valley. So people ask what all I'm involved in. I'm the superintendent, I'm the principal, I'm the work-based learning director. We have a coordinator that works underneath me. So I kind of oversee a lot of those things as we're very rural in our nature. So we serve 9 different school districts. We're a regional center. We have our own school board. We're not through a school district per se. So it's very unique. One thing that I think is very unique and sets us up for our work-based learning very well is we run a ton of different entities out of North Valley, everything from adult and community education to after school for kindergarten through 12th grade. And we partner a lot with our after school 21st century ESP after school programs in our work-based learning goals. So anyway, I thought it would be important to know a little bit about who we are. Our enrollment is small. We have over 200 students, but we give away about 600 credits a year. So each student averages at least 3 credits through North Valley. It's small in comparison to Holly by far. But the unique part is we have well over, I would say about 3/4 of our students take classes at North Valley. How do I recruit those kids? For work-based learning is we require it. A huge piece of career and technical education is career exploration. And I don't think of a better way to have some career exploration than work. Through their schooling. So you can see what we do, everything from kindergarten. They had always crayons to college. And so we thought we better have crayons to careers. So we start all the way in kindergarten and work our way through. I see my slide got a little messed up when I shared it, but grades 3 through 8 have Marketplace for Kids. That's where kids build projects and things like that. Grades 3 through 6, we have youth entrepreneurship camps. And so you can see today I'll just focus a little bit more on the actual work-based work site learning, which is kind of our job shadow program. And that leads into our cooperative work experience and our summer internships. So I think a huge piece of anything as far as recruiting and getting the word out there is to maximize partnerships and to maximize opportunities. So we have a very extensive partnership with the Park River Economic Development, which is a community. Grafton and Park River are probably the two biggest communities, or they are the two biggest communities that and districts that participate at North Valley. And so I'm very active in both economic development groups there. I'm on both chambers as well. The Red River Regional Council, which is we have 8 regions in North Dakota, and we contract them for some of their time to help us with our work-based learning activities. Also, we have the Pembina County and Walsh County JDA. So we kind of cover 2 counties here. We're on the border of Canada. So in case you're wondering where we are, we got about 4 feet of snow down right now. So, but everything from Highway 2 north is North Dakota's kind of split into 4 regions, I would say, and we're probably the northeast corners. We cover a lot of rural area. So it's a big land area, but it's definitely manageable if we all work together. And then the 21st Century After School, like I said earlier, and then the RREA is a huge piece of it too. I think we talk about different ways to partner with our agencies, really is what they are, as agency partners, is to make sure that we can provide a great service for our communities. We've had a lot of buy-in from those agencies, and when those agencies bought in, it really caused our businesses to hop on board as well. And I'll talk a little bit more about that here in a second. So here's our job shadows. Every one of our job shadow students takes a selfie with the business, and that really makes it fun. They're awkward with it, which even makes it better. But so it's very real. You can see these are a few of our job shadow students. So we do a lot of social media posts, make sure to blast those out. It's kind of our thank you to the businesses from North Valley, the organization. And then the students each write handwritten thank yous that go out to the businesses as well on a North Valley card. So we make sure to make sure that they feel appreciated. How we place them is our students, and I'm not going to touch much on that because I know we're running a little behind. But we place our students using surveys, and they all go through their pathways and different things. I think there's one of our bulletin boards in our hallways. We blast them all. And so I actually just had a worldwide company, Marvin Windows and Doors, were just in a tour this morning, and they stopped at that board, and I had a couple of the corporate people here, and they were awfully impressed. So they're a great partner. But like I said, we don't really have a problem forming partnerships with our industry. we only have 200 students and we have over 145 industry partners. So pretty much anybody we ask is willing to do it. So I feel like that's not the challenge. We keep it simple. One of the things that we do for our summer internships, all of our students have access to a summer internship where they can earn high school credit, as well as get it paid, and the businesses can have some help fill that employment gap. One of the things that we do that may be unique is through our economic developments for both Pembina and Walsh County and our JDA, we are actually pay our businesses $5 an hour for the first 75 hours for hosting a student. The reason why 75 hours is because that's what it takes to earn a half a credit in North Dakota. So, and we try to help offset some of those costs for a little tiny bit of paperwork they have to do and appreciation for hosting a student. So that really helps offset the cost. We kind of cut it off at that, and because after 75 hours, we're hope they're making the business money. Here, we have an internship job fair coming up. Last year we had I think we had 18 businesses show up. We had many different jobs available within those businesses. This year, I said we're expecting over 20. I just got word from our work-based learning coordinator that we're hitting over 30 now. So over 30 businesses will come. Each student is required to go interview with 2 different businesses. That's a life skill. That's a professional skill that they all need to have. So each student will interview at 2 different spots. They all have to have their resumes built. These are all things that are, and the thing that we could never do this without the support of our teachers. Our teachers really bought in. And so our teachers definitely help with all these activities. And it's part of the students' grades. I mean, for their job shadow, it's 10% of their grade. So it's a heavy piece of what they do, but that's how big our teachers feel that career exploration and work-based learning is it's a huge piece of what we need to do for our students. So like I said, though, each of them will come with a resume. This is the pictures on the screen right now. On the left are the first 2 pictures are the students building resumes in one of our spare rooms there. You can see that it's kind of a makeshift classroom, and we have a couple teachers there assisting them, giving them ideas. And on the right,
sorry, truck's outside, I forgot.
we just set up
so
booth.
I'm gonna have to cancel the flight. I don't know how to do that. I can't do it right now. We'll have to do that later.
Chelsea, if you could please mute, sorry. Michael, you might need to unmute.
Sorry about that. Yeah, so anyway, on the right, those pictures on the bottom on the right are that's part of our internship fair. We don't set up a big gym. We actually put them right in our shop areas and our hallways, and it's a pretty fun day. We actually get North Dakota Job Service there as well. Sorry here. So they show up and they help. There's a lot of opportunities through job service, and your state's job services have the same as far as for the employers to hire students. Last year we had 29 students working at 22 different businesses. It doesn't sound like a lot, but when we only have 200 students total, it's a pretty good percentage. And I always use so my son is a junior this year. He worked the last 2 summers. One summer he worked at physical therapy department, thinking he wanted to do physical therapy. After that summer was over, he loved working with the people he was working with and liked the opportunity, but he said, I'm not going to be a physical therapist anymore. So learning what you don't want to do is just as important as learning what you do want to do. And so that was important. And I always use the conversation always goes to our students made $80,000, and if they're all anything like my son is, they stimulated the economy with that. So it was a good investment for the JDAs to pump money into kids because they spend it. And all those activities lead to the career builders. And so we sell that hard to our industry partners. It's a great opportunity for our industry partners to kind of vet through some students that they may want to invest in and send them to college. So Career Builders in North Dakota is an opportunity for students to get sponsored by a business, and the business can invest in that student to send them to further training. And then the state will actually match dollar for dollar that investment up to $17,000. So students can get a great investment into their college expenses or their any training beyond high school. And so this is a great opportunity, the work-based learning, and I always sell that to our businesses. It's a great opportunity for you to find out if it's a good match for you to invest in that student. The biggest thing I would say that's been a benefit for work-based learning in our area is to get a seat at the table. I serve on a number of boards. Actually, I just got back to my office right before we got started I'm on the nursing home board in Grafton. So I think the big thing there is that you're able to express to these different organizations that what you're doing. And then once you explain to them what we're doing for students, it's an easy sell. It really has been an easy sell as far as getting buy-in for our programs. So I know that we're running to the end here, and I ran through a lot of things very quickly, but I'd be happy to share. Our website is down here. My email is there as well. Like I said, I'm the director as well as a substitute teacher and the work-based learning coordinator. So anything that will help make our kids get out there and figure out what they want to do with their lives is kind of what our goal is here at North Valley. And I will say this, another thing is we have a great staff that is 100% on board with work-based learning. I have, as a school administrator, you always have some initiatives that have some pullback. And this one, I can honestly say we've never had any pullback or pushback from moving forward with work-based learning. So it's a great topic. It's a great opportunity for us to be able to promote a little bit of who we are at North Valley. Our website's down there. We have a pretty good video explaining who we are on there as well. So I'd be happy to entertain any questions or.
Thank you for sharing all of that information. If you wouldn't mind putting that those links in the chat, I'm sure people would love to see them. And I think you said some very important things about, even students finding out what they don't want to do. That sometimes is a big win, saving kids from spending a lot of time in school for something they don't end up wanting to pursue. And also the opportunities for every different grade level. I know that's something that's becoming a great challenge. I've gotten a lot of great ideas from this webinar. I have seen a good number of questions. I know we're right at the end, but I thought one quick question that we can pull up to everybody has to do with social media, because that's come up a few times in the chat. How to get the message out on social media on a regular basis? Any of our panelists want to take that?
How to get it out? Is that what, I'm sorry, is that what you said?
Yeah, how you get the message out on a regular basis about your work-based learning programs.
Yes, I mean, and I answered a question directly to the person who asked. I mean, I do not have a part-time intern or a part-time employee that runs my social media. It's just something that I see a benefit to my program. So I'm new to LinkedIn, but I am trying to kind of go there more for the business aspect of it, but I stay on Instagram and Twitter for really Instagram for students, and then Twitter for businesses too. And then my district does a great job. If I tag them, then they will reshare for my district and for my school individually. So again, I think it's just that relationship with those people, and kind of one of them said, if your program's successful, it will speak for itself. So they're happy to share out, because it's a lot about what our students are doing, and then also the career initiatives that we have going on within our school. So I don't really have a great plan for it. I just do it.
I will share a little bit. I leave a lot of responsibility up to our staff to help share as well. But one thing that we did last summer, one of our summer interns actually worked for the Walsh County JDA, and she helped manage some of their social media. And she's currently a junior at North Valley, and we actually hired her to schedule out all of our shares for our job shadows. So they're pretty much a template that we use, as you saw on our bulletin board and on our those sample. We use Facebook a lot because that hits a lot of the parents. That's kind of our parent buy-in. It's different generations, obviously, is different things, but we actually hired her and paid her through some grant funding to help us share out some of our social media, and we schedule it out.
Communications coordinator who I just send the information and the picture to, and she just takes care of that. So our school actually has somebody on staff who puts that out there. So that makes that a lot easier on my end. I just have to try to put together words and she does all the work.
Wow, what an amazing resource.
Yeah, I
Well,
was going to
thank
say
you.
that'll be our next question for Don, who's at the state level, to fund a communication coordinator for all of our centers. No.
Well, thank you all again so much for sharing. I know we've gone a little bit over time. This recording will be posted on the ACTE member website, and as well as the PowerPoint presentation. So hopefully everyone got something out of it. I know I did. And thank you so much. Have a great day.